attention!
Hello.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm David, and we're talking Big Brother again.
It's as if nothing happened.
I know.
Except a lot of things happened.
Right.
We had a setup that James was going to be the deciding vote.
Yes.
And he wanted to get rid of Victor, even though Victor and Paul did try to pull out some last minute mind games.
They did.
With Paul going to Nicole and Corey,
Yeah.
Victor isn't his friend anymore. Like, I didn't buy it. I thought it was totally obvious that would be gameplay, but James kind of bought into it. But nonetheless, he was like, Victor is way too good of a player.
Yes.
We have to take this opportunity to get him out. And he does vote to evict Victor.
He does, going against what Natalie wanted. She wanted to keep Victor and vote Corey out, but James makes that vote and sends Victor packing for the second time.
But guys, we saw some amazing jury footage. We wanted an insight on the jury house. We needed to see how Paulie was doing, and boy did we get that.
Oh my God.
Those three ladies did not let him just walk in and peachy keen, whatever.
They sat down at that table and they had a talk, the four of them.
Okay, but before they sat down at the table, he had to throw in petty
Ladies.
Catty girls this season. And I'm like, could you just one time not make a negative comment about women? Just one time.
Right.
Just one time, Paulie. I'm just asking one time.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I know it sucks probably to like sit at that table and have them all pile on you, but you did a lot of like terrible things, so you just kind of have to eat that shit. You know what I mean?
He didn't just eat it.
No.
It festered in him, and you could see the rage like
He was
building,
so mad.
which just kind of made me happy.
Yeah, and I loved when it really started to get heated between Zakiya and Paulie, and they were sort of talking over Davon, and she was like,
yeah.
and then she like looks at Bridget and she's like, oh, we gotta go. Like,
Day's reactions are the best. But I actually was surprised that Zakiya was so over Paulie. I thought for sure she'd forget everything within a minute and be like, I love you, Paulie.
Yeah, I imagine that Bridget and Davon were probably like, girl, you gotta stay strong.
Girl.
These are the reasons that you don't like him. You can't trust him. He's not good for you. So they like really probably built her up.
Let me tell you who else I don't like right now. Corey. Okay, we've seen him staring off into the distance and not really participating much this season.
Yeah.
But this week, when they were supposed to be studying for that weather comp, he said, dude, who cares? That ticks me off. What makes me angry is when you're not playing the game.
Yeah.
When you're in this Big Brother house and you're not playing the game, there are so many people who would love to play this game.
Yes.
Why are you're a waste of a spot in this house.
Yep, and you need to be playing the game every single minute. You could maybe look like you're not playing the game, but that should be part of your strategy. You're laying low, you're trying not to, make waves.
He doesn't know the definition of strategy. I was so angry when I saw that.
Yeah, and Nicole kept being like, Corey, we have to study, we have to like memorize this stuff.
Corey, whatever. Thank goodness she's winning something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to it.
Right. So after Vic is sent packing, the jury members find out that there's going to be the battle back competition. The five of them head back into the house, and it's another wall competition. And the last juror standing gets to come back in the house, and if they're the last person standing, period, they'll come back and they'll be HOH for the next week.
And of course, we're all just like, please don't let it be Paulie.
Please.
But also, I assumed if Vic was going to be evicted, he was going to win back in.
Right.
That's my assumption.
And that is the correct
exactly
assumption.
what happened.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I would have loved to have seen Bridget come back or, even Day just for fun. But Day didn't make it up very long. And then Paulie was really, really struggling.
Yeah, I was kind of pissed that Day and Zakiya jumped off willingly.
Well, that's what, I mean, they've jumped off of everything so far.
But I just, again, going back to you, like, why are you not playing the game? It was just like, really? You have a chance to come back in the house and you're just gonna jump off?
They're playing the game. They at least look like they're trying to play the game, but they're not the type of people to, like, work through the pain.
Yeah.
Is what it's like. Some people are like struggling, but they are like doing their best to stay up. They both seemed like they started to struggle and they were like, oh, we're not gonna make it. Yeah. And so they jumped off.
It really did come down to Paulie and Victor, and it seemed like pretty close the way they edited it on Sunday's episode. They were both like shaking and struggling.
It was. I watched it live on the feeds, and
they were like a minute apart, right? Or something?
Yeah, it was not long. I mean, Victor even though he didn't look like he was struggling, he clearly was.
Yeah.
Because he didn't last too much longer after Pauly. So we come down to really Nicole and James were the last two.
So then they start to like make deals back and forth. Are you going to keep me and Natalie safe? Well, maybe will you keep me and Corey safe? Blah, blah, blah. Nicole's saying, I want this HOH. I want a letter from my mother. So eventually James drops.
Who falls for this letter from home thing?
Honestly.
She wants to win HOH because she wants to win HOH.
Yeah, she wants to make moves.
Yes, exactly. And James, I think he's making choices on the ones he's winning and not winning.
Yes, he does seem to throw a lot of competitions.
And I hope if you're throwing a competition, it's because you trust that you don't need to be the bad guy that week.
Right.
And I will give him the fact that he was just the bad guy and he solely evicted Victor.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say that he didn't want to win HOH because he didn't want more blood on his hands.
That's fair. I hope that's the reason.
That's my assumption. I don't know, because overall it does look like James throws a lot of comps, and that has been frustrating a lot of people.
Yeah.
And of course, once we saw how Nicole was thinking, then we were like, uh-oh, James shouldn't be so trusting.
Yeah.
And maybe he should not throw so many comps.
Yeah, so they've just, the previous week, Nicole and Corey have just made this Final Four deal with James and Natalie, and now all of a sudden, Nicole's target this week, once she becomes HOH, she says her target is Michelle, but she's considering putting up James or Natalie as the second nominee right after she made a deal with them the week before for Final Four, and then she made a deal with James on the wall not to put either of them up on the block. And now she's considering breaking that.
Now, you said you thought this was good gameplay. You thought she was making smart decisions.
I did. Well, when she finally came around to the fact that she needed to put either Paul or Victor up as a pawn, that I think is a good game move.
Yes.
Because she can keep the deal with James and Natalie, keep them happy and thinking there's a Final Four situation going on. Michelle is really her target because Michelle is the worst person to have in the house.
Michelle called her a snake on live TV.
So that's really where Nicole's focus needs to be, and she just needs to have a pawn next to Michelle to make sure that Michelle goes home this week.
But here's my issue. I don't understand why Nicole turned against James so quickly. Let's back up a bit. Paul ripped into Nicole the week before.
Yep.
Threw a big fit. It's all part of his strategy, but he still put a lot of blame on her, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then James did accidentally blurt out that Natalie wanted to keep Vic.
Yes.
But what did James actually do? He voted to evict Victor and keep Corey. That's what he did.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why she completely forgot that he actually did keep their foursome.
Yeah.
And she turned on him so quick.
Yeah. But I wonder, to me it seems more like she's just, maybe more that she's turning on Natalie than James, because you're right, like I don't see any reason why she would not trust James at this point, because James has been true to his word when it comes to Nicole. But Natalie, I would maybe feel betrayed by her, like, wait a minute, we had this Final Four deal and now I'm hearing that you were gonna evict my boyfriend in the house. Like, that's not cool. But
I just don't know how she thinks Paul is so safe.
Well, and it doesn't make sense to me. Their whole rationale for partnering up with Paul and Victor is that Paul and Victor are the two strongest people in the house, so we should bring them to Final Four. Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, they are the two strongest people in the house.
So they're gonna evict you once you get to Final Four.
If that's your decision making, then fine. Good for you. And when they evict you and they make it to Final Two, then I don't feel bad for you because you made that decision.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of flip-flopping this season.
Whole season, yeah. Honestly, that really is a theme of this season, that like alliances really only last 1 week. And then once you all get your target out that week, everything changes and you're forming new alliances to go to your target out.
Has been duos.
Yeah.
They're clear duos, and then who those duos pair up with, that changes all the time.
Yeah.
And we were saying Paul and Vic together as a duo are super strong, and I don't know how you beat them. They remind me of Dan and Memphis, like they from season 10. They are like a strong duo that's going to be hard to beat. I think James and Natalie are also a strong duo. I mean, below the two guys.
Yes.
But above Nicole and Corey, because Nicole may understand the game, but Corey is not doing anything.
No.
So he's not a good duo for her.
Yeah. Can we talk about America's Care Package this week, which Corey won? He gets this BB bribe. He gets to pay somebody $5,000 to do a game move that benefits him. And all Corey can think of is, we could get somebody to do something really stupid and then give him $5,000. And Nicole's like, it has to be game related. What are you doing? Like,
Nicole, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why?
Maybe if Nicole's like, if I make it to final 2 with Corey, there's no way I'm losing this
That
game.
is the upside. If she does, by some miracle, take him to final 2,
Yeah.
no one's gonna vote for him.
Yeah. There's
So,
no way. He's the ultimate floater. He's more of a floater than Victoria.
Yes! Let's move on to spoilers.
Yes.
Wait, we didn't even say who she actually nominated.
Oh, right. So she does nominate Michelle, and Paul agrees to go up as a pawn against Michelle. So those are the 2 nominees.
Yes, so then they play veto.
Mm-hmm.
And, spoiler, Nicole actually wins veto.
Yeah, surprisingly. 2 competitions in a row.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
But apparently it came down to Michelle was doing really, really well, and she could not let Michelle win.
Right.
So Nicole wins it, and of course Paul would love for her to take Paul off the block.
That'd be great.
But then that looks suspicious, and she doesn't really want to have to put up another nominee.
Because then it looks like she's backdooring whoever the renom
It really
is.
would.
So it's easiest for Nicole's game to just let things play out as they are, but it does look like it's going to come down to a tiebreaker vote this week, because Corey and Victor are going to vote to evict Michelle, and probably James and Natalie are going to vote to evict Paul. So then it comes down to Nicole to break the tie, and she's going to have to vote for Michelle, unless Nicole gives James a heads up, which is a possibility this week.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what she does, because it would make the most sense for her to sit down and come up with something to explain to him that Michelle has been after her this whole time, and she just really needs to get Michelle out, and sort of just convince James, if you don't vote, then I will break the tie and I will vote Michelle out. Like, if she does it in that sort of calm way, she still sort of hides any change of alliances and still keeps James in the loop.
Yeah, and she could say, well, why don't we get Michelle this week, and then next week you, me, Corey, and Natalie will go after Paul and Victor, and make him think like our alliance is still intact.
They could also use the bribe. I mean, Corey could bribe James to vote Michelle out.
Yeah, and then Nicole doesn't have to really get all that much more blood on her hands,
Corey is mentioning maybe bribing someone to throw him the HOH competition. But
I think he'd have to bribe that whole house.
Right. I was like, who are you gonna bribe? Victor?
Right.
And then James is gonna win. Like, Corey, you're not gonna be like second place.
Yeah. Chances are, I'm thinking that the week is gonna go by and that bribe is not gonna get used and the money's just gonna disappear.
Well, I wasn't sure how it was gonna be used in the first place. I was not really keen on this care package. And I kind of loved, because the whole house was like, well, whoever's gonna get this, it's gonna be huge, it's gonna be huge, it's gonna be huge. And then it wasn't.
Because it has sort of been like increasing in intensity each week. And
I mean, the OH last week, like, that's pretty big. And then they're like, well, this one's gonna be huge.
Yeah, Nicole thought it was gonna be like an HOH takeover. Which is a reasonable assumption, but nope.
Nope, it's a bribe given to a dummy who's not going to know what to do with that. What did you guys think of Nicole's whole strategy and week and turning on James? I mean, is she finally playing the game?
Right.
Exactly.
And click subscribe, because we'll be back next week to recap everything again.
Bye.